Good morning, everybody. It's Coach RJ here, your fat loss expert from Fit Club Winnipeg. And getting to talking to a bunch of people and even non-clients and just regular people. And we're always trying to figure out what is the best diet plan to be on. I mean, there's so many out there, right? Like some people say that carbs are bad and sugar is the enemy and that I should be going low calorie, I should be going high calorie, I shouldn't consume any types of fats. There's so many documentaries on Netflix now saying that meat is bad for you. I mean, which diet plan should I be on? Well, I'll tell you the first diet plan that you shouldn't be on, the number one diet plan that you shouldn't be on is the yo-yo diet, right? That's the only diet that's not going to work for you. And what I mean by yo-yo dieting is that maybe at some times you're going for a trip, right? And then so you're going to go through an extreme amount of calorie deprivation, right? And you might try keto plan, right? And you might try, so keto didn't work for you and you couldn't stay consistent. So the next thing you know, you're going to try paleo and paleo didn't work. And so the next thing you know that you're going to try carb timing, you're going to try low carb, you're going to try high carb. I mean, I've seen it so many times. Like I've got a good friend and he just continues to yo-yo. And the thing is that we build up these lies in our head because we think that we're on some type of nutrition plan that, it's going to get us the results that we're looking for, but we don't stay consistent. And so what ends up happening is the fat cells, they only shrink and grow, okay? They don't ever go away. Right? So the fat cells can shrink to almost to the point where they're very minimal, right? Where there's only 1% filled versus like when a fat cells get filled up to 100%, you actually spill over and your body reproduces fat, right? And so what ends up happening is that now you've got, instead of 10,000 fat cells in you, you've got 15,000 fat cells. Now you might have 10,000 full fat cells, and then you'll have 5,000 fat cells that are partially full, and then they're ready just to keep expanding. And so today I want to give you a crash course on some of the common diet plans out there. So number one, just make sure that you're not doing the yo-yo diet. So the first thing you have to do is you have to understand you need to consume your calories based around your goals, okay? So if your goal is to lose weight, studies have shown that being in a 500 calorie deficit every single day can and will result in a 1 pound loss a week, okay? And then if you're looking to maintain your weight, right? People do want to maintain their weight, and you shouldn't always be in a caloric deficit every day, every month of the year, okay? There's going to be times where you want to be in maintenance, and there's going to be times where you're going to want to be in surplus. And it allows your body and your hormones and your muscles essentially to repair, to regrow, and your body's ability to burn fat. So you can't be in a weight loss challenge all throughout the year, right? One of my favorite challenges that I've done so far is the 7-day detox. And for all our current members, all you got to do is see us at the front desk, and we'll give you the all-intensive, all-inclusive 7-day detox. For non-members, all you got to do is go to my website, which is www.fitclub.fit. And all our members, feel free to share our website. I love the 7-day detox. I feel like it could change somebody's lives. They'll get the basic breakdown of it, but I mean, they'll get pretty much everything that they need. You as a member, you'll get the full extent of it. But yeah, the 7-day detox is where I would start. And it's not a weight loss challenge, right? So there's no caloric deficit, there's no maintenance, there's no surplus. You don't got to count calories. It's literally just putting clean, natural foods back into your body. And that's kind of like where I would tell somebody to start, right? So where would you go from there? Well, I would put you into the Whole Foods Challenge. Okay, so what Whole Foods is means that you're just eating foods from the earth, right? So there's no bacon, there's no really, I don't even know what processed foods really are, but obviously no grains, no dairy, right? No wheats, and that's where I would start you. I would just get you eating back to eating colorful foods, okay? And then what's the difference between a whole food and then there's another challenge out there that's called paleo, right? And so paleo, the difference between the two, really there isn't any difference, okay? Because the paleo is if you were able to gather it, hunt it, kill it, and pretty much eat it right then and there, and it never hit any type of manufacturer, then that's paleo. So they want us to eat like we would back in our Paleolithic days and using ingredients that are basically from the earth. So is there a challenge is there a difference between whole foods and paleo? I don't think so, right? There's not much. So what's the difference between paleo and keto? Okay, so keto, again, paleo is like you can eat fruits, right? Basically, that's the main difference, is that you can eat a lot of fruit, and you can eat nuts. You can eat nuts in both of them, but paleo is whole foods, versus keto is you can eat whatever like food you want. It doesn't matter if it's processed. And in fact, people that are in keto actually eat a lot of dairy and cheese, and you can pretty much have grains, right? You can have beans and all that other stuff, whereas in paleo you can't. But with keto, the key is that you're keeping all your carbohydrates under 50 grams, okay? And I know people that I've talked to people, and they told me that they're on keto, and then like they're on keto for like a couple days, and then they'll go and have like a Starbucks latte, or they'll go and, you know what I mean? Like they'll go and have a Frappuccino, or on the weekend they'll have some type of big cheat meal. The thing about keto is it's now you're going with your system, and so what ends up happening is you're forcing your body to utilize fat as fuel because your carbohydrate intake is so low. But your carbohydrate intake has to be 50 or less. And like, it can't be 50 or less for a couple days. It has to be 50 or less for an extensive period of time. Like, I'm pretty low carb as it is, right? Like I generally do a higher protein diet approach, and that's kind of what we work with our clients. But and so for me to get kicked into keto takes about 3 weeks of straight keto, versus somebody that's just getting going, right? So like if you're just starting your clean eating, or you're starting your diet plan, and your body is used to burning carbohydrates as fuel, it took me 21 days, right? So your carbohydrate intake is probably closer to 300, right? 300 grams a day. You probably don't even know, but it's really high. And if you started tracking using MyFitnessPal, you'll probably realize that it's fairly high. It doesn't take much to put carbs. Like, I mean, if you eat an apple, apple's good for you, right? But if you eat an apple, it's about 38 grams of carbs. Now, if you go and have everything else that you've had, then that all stacks up and brings you right out of keto. And so with keto, you can eat bacon, you can eat cheese, but your macros have to almost be 70% of what you eat. So on your plate has to be from fat sources, and you're not going to be eating a lot of food, because 1 gram of fat is 9 calories versus 1 gram of protein is 4. So and 1 gram of carbohydrates is 4 calories. And so you're going to be eating smaller portions of food. You can still eat lots of vegetables, because really the darker the green the vegetable, the less carbohydrates that are in them, and the less blood sugar spike you're going to get, and the less likely it's going to pull you out of keto. But with keto, if you say you're keto, then you have to be keto all the time. There is no real like cheat meal, okay? Because if you're stacking it up throughout the week, you really only get 50 grams of carbs. So if your plan is to be in there, then really on a week, you get 350 grams of carbs for the week. Most people consume that in a day, okay? But yeah, all you get is in a week. So if you're having one cheat meal a week, then that means that all your carbohydrate intake for the week up until that meal need to be 0, because you'll see that it adds up quickly, right? So if you have one piece of bread throughout the week, you're pretty much done, right? Like that's it. That's all you get, right? Boom, you get that for the day. And let's say every day you're adding something to you're adding some type of sweetener or whatever it is that kicks you out of keto, you're not going to be in keto much longer. So this is kind of one of the most frustrating ones for me. People throw the word keto around because they like it, because ketogenesis means using lipolysis as fuel. And so they sell into their head that they're on keto, but you're not on keto. And I have ketone strips. So that's what I would suggest to you. If you actually want to see you're in keto, then use ketone strips, and then you'll really see if you're actually in ketogenesis. Okay, so I'm going to move on from that topic. Sorry, I got a little bit fired up on it. So the next one is vegetarian versus vegan. So I don't know. Let's start with vegan. Okay, so vegan is like pretty much no nothing, right? Like your primary protein source is coming from beans, legumes, coming from soy, right? And I think that it is a cleaner way to eat. But the only problem is that if you ever watch any of these documentaries, if you ever read a lot of things, like they say that soy is probably one of the worst protein sources for you. And in fact, it can raise estrogen levels, right? That's what I've read. I don't know enough about it, but if you're consuming lots of soy to make up for your protein consumption, like if you're a bodybuilder, then you might have long-term issues with that, right? But I mean, it's up in the air. So as far as I know, vegan is just like vegetables, beans, and and that's pretty much it. Whereas a vegetarian now, they're obviously still not eating meat, but they're able to eat eggs and they're able to drink or eat dairy, right? Now the problem with both these plans, the vegan and the vegetarian plan, is that I find that the people that are generally following it, they, because they're just focused on not eating meat, is that they tend to eat a lot of snacks, right? And I've seen it where they'll eat lots and lots of fruit, right? Because they're trying to make up for some type of satiety. So generally, like, I know some vegan athletes, but it's very tough to eat as much calories as you require to be an athlete. There's probably some people out there that are like standout people, and I haven't done a lot of research onto it. I think it's great. I think it cleanses your body, and I think that it'll help clear up a lot of problems that you have, inflammation, et cetera, speed up healing. But at the same time, I think it's really, really tough. So that's it for today, guys. We touched into a lot of things. So where do you start? The number one thing where you start is that you don't yo-yo, right? Find something, and you can't go from one diet plan to eating like crap, right? So it's like you don't go from a 7-day detox and then you go and eat crap until your next diet plan, right? And then you jump on keto and then you eat like crap. Like, you got to be consistent with whatever you're doing. So if you're doing clean eating and your focus is weight loss or weight maintenance, then you stick within that realm, right? And then, like, honestly, nutrition has really changed my physique, right? So in the past 12 months, I've actually been on a diet plan. It's not that I didn't believe, it's just I didn't want to put that much work into it. I wanted to just eat whatever I want. And then I would just train really hard. But since my knee injury, I can't train as hard. So I need to focus on, on the other part, which is my nutrition and my recovery, right? And ever since I've done that, my body fat has gone down. Like, it hasn't gone down significant, but for me, I'll hover around 18 to 20% is where I was around last year. And now I hover around like 15%. Now it's only a 3% difference, but when you only have 18% body fat, like, that's a massive deal, right? Like, if I lost 20 pounds versus somebody that is like 250 pounds that lost 20 pounds, that's a big difference, right? And so all I've really changed is I've decreased my energy output, because normally I'm playing football every day, I'll work out, right? And I'll usually play a couple games a day sometimes, where I'm burning anywhere from like 3,500 to 4,500 calories. Now my caloric burn on a high, very, very high day is 35. So that used to be my low burn. And so I've had to make up for that in nutrition. And so if people are trying to outwork a poor diet, then they're just not going to, like, you're not going to get the results. You're going to get in shape, and your body is going to naturally, like, if you have weight and fat to lose, your body will naturally lose weight and fat. I was talking to this guy the other day. He's been with us since December of last year. He's lost almost 40 pounds. And he's like, I didn't change my diet at all, man. I was like, yeah, it's understandable, right? Like, your energy output now is higher. You're utilizing different muscles, right? But that's a different story. The best bet, people say it's 80% diet and 20% nutrition. I say it's 50-50, man. You got to work out, right? You can eat well, and then, like, you essentially won't really gain any fat as long as your calories are under control. But, like, there isn't going to be any type of, like, you're not going to have any strength capacity. You're not going to really have much functionality. And, depending on how you want to look and how you want things to fit and feel, then, like, you need to build some muscle, right? And the same thing goes for poor eating. Like, I know mostly powerlifters, right? Powerlifters eat like crap, right? They want to eat copious amounts of food. right? And then they just want to go and lift heavy weights but not burn a ton of calories. I mean, like, look at how those guys look, right? They're all just thick and like they look obese, but they're like tanks, right? And so like that's the opposite end of the spectrum. And so what is it? What's the perfect blend? RJ, it's 80% diet. No, it's not 80% diet. You still got to work out, man. You still got to work out. So I just gave you some breakdowns: whole foods diet, paleo, keto, bit of vegan and vegetarian. You know, maybe I can get Candace on here one day, and we'll do a post about the difference between vegan and vegetarian. But that's it for today, guys. I'm just hoping that you get 1% better. You become the best versions of you. I'll see you on the blue.